Hey guys, it's Samantha. From admitting mistakes to getting help you need, here are some signs you're stronger-minded than other people.
Number 13. Celebrate others. Have you ever been around somebody who is never happy when you succeed? They could seem jealous or angry and just generally upset that you're doing well in life.
Surprisingly, this happens fairly often. People have a difficult time being content regarding other people's accomplishments if they have a weak mind.
They're often self-conscious about their achievements, or lack thereof, and themselves, which causes them to be bitter and resentful of those around them. Just like the Wicked Witch of the West in The Wizard of Oz, they become envious, although they usually don't turn green. But if you do the opposite, praise people for their success, celebrate when your friends meet their goals, and experience true excitement for them, then you are mentally tougher than other people. Celebrating others means that you are confident enough in yourself and your goals that you aren't jealous of what anyone else does or has. Number 12. Take responsibility. Another sign that you are mentally stronger than other people is if you take responsibility for your own actions. Although it may not seem like a difficult task, admitting you're wrong is one of the greatest signs that your mind is stronger than most people. It's bad enough when we make a mistake and get down on ourselves about it, but letting other people know that you're the one who messed up is even harder. For example, if you're at work and forget to do one of your daily tasks, then you're probably going to be pretty embarrassed and feel bad about not doing it. Somebody who is mentally weak would blame somebody else for the issue or act like they did nothing wrong. But someone with a strong mind would own up to their error and figure out what they can do to reconcile it. So, if you have the courage to admit the things you've done wrong, apologize, and correct any issues they've caused, then chances are that you're one tough cookie. Number 11. Recognize your weaknesses. Just like recognizing your mistakes is challenging, so is acknowledging your weaknesses. It might sound cliche, but nobody is perfect. That's just the way it is. So it's best not to act like you are, unless your goal is for people to dislike you. Of course, people who pretend they're flawless are usually self-conscious, and acting smug is their method of hiding their insecurities. But if you don't feel shame regarding your imperfections, then chances are that you have a tough mind. Admitting your weaknesses and working to grow and improve are very telling of a strong mentality. It isn't easy to accept the things you aren't confident about and struggle with, so more power to you if you can be open and honest about stuff you need to work on. Number 10. Improving. As we briefly mentioned before, something else that signals a mentally tough person is improving. After recognizing your weaknesses, struggles, or mistakes, the following step is bettering yourself. This takes an entirely different level of mental strength because talking about doing something and actually buckling down and doing it are two separate things.
Although admitting your issues is emotionally demanding, taking the steps to combat your shortcomings is even more difficult.
That's why people always say, actions speak louder than words. This phrase holds true in more than one sense. For instance, telling your spouse that you love them isn't as significant as doing things that show them how you feel. Concerning mental toughness, however, the improvements are entirely your responsibility. The only person you're trying to impress is yourself, which can make things tougher. But if you succeed in improving, then you'll demonstrate your mental strength. Number 9. Express gratitude. Mentally tough people are also great at expressing gratitude. For some reason, people often find it strenuous to say thank you when somebody does something nice for them. This can include things as minuscule as holding the door open, or as significant as giving a friend a place to stay. It may seem surprising to you that so many folks aren't well versed in the simple please and thank you courtesy that most of us learned during childhood. But it's safe to say that showing appreciation isn't effortless for some. This could be due to how they were raised, but it's more likely the result of embarrassment, lack of confidence, or failure to acknowledge that they need help. An example would be what we mentioned earlier, a friend needing a place to stay. Although they might reach out and ask for assistance, it doesn't necessarily mean that they've accepted the fact that they're going through a rough patch. Actively showing how appreciative they are would confirm that they're struggling. However, if you were in the same situation and presented your thankfulness openly, then it means you are mentally strong. You aren't afraid to admit that you need help and do things that show your gratitude when you get it. As we previously mentioned, expressing thanks isn't always in profound situations. Have you ever held the door open for somebody and they don't acknowledge your presence, much less say thank you? That's a sign of a weak-minded person. This could be because they're acting superior to you, aren't observative, or are merely rude. Whatever the case, failing to praise somebody for something nice they've done for you is a sign of a mentally weak person. Number 8. Handle pressure. Something else that points to a strong mind is the ability to deal with stress and pressure. These things could come from personal struggles, work, school, or just about anything else in life. But the way you handle it determines how mentally tough you are compared to other people. Others might easily break down or become unable to think straight during times of severe tension. On the other hand, people who are mentally strong will be able to take things a step at a time and resolve the issue without becoming too overwhelmed. So, if you're one of those people who can look at things from a different perspective and take whatever life throws at you, then you are one tough cookie. Number 7. Actively solve problems. This characteristic goes along with handling pressure. Problem solving is one of those primary aspects of a person with a strong mind. But there's a difference between problem solving and active problem solving.
Although most people do the former, procrastination is almost prevalent in most situations.
Those who take part in active problem solving are the ones whose minds are tougher. Recognizing the issue, thinking it through, and coming up with solutions right away is more difficult than figuring it out over a prolonged period. You might be asking, why? Well, the answer is simple. It's easier to put things off until the following day, week, or month, while taking on the problem right then and there is challenging because it requires quick thinking, focus, and determination. Number 6. Face your fears. Those with mental toughness don't shy away from the things that intimidate them. We aren't necessarily referring to people with arachnophobia or acrophobia, the fear of heights for those who don't know, but there is something to say for those who don't let the fears control them. Let's say that you have the opportunity for a promotion at work, and to get it you have to give a presentation in front of several of your coworkers. Just about everybody would be nervous about a situation like this, but only mentally tough people will be willing to do so, especially because it's beneficial in the long run. On the other hand, those who are weak-minded would bypass the opportunity merely because it's easier to maintain their current position. Facing your fears also involves trying new things. People who are willing to travel to different places, expand their horizons, try their hand at new hobbies and activities, or mix up their day-to-day lives are often tougher-minded than others who stay in their lane, so to speak. Number 5. Keep trying. There are numerous things that can define somebody with a strong mind, and in addition to facing your fears and solving problems, a significant characteristic is the motivation to keep trying. Although it might sound cliché to say when you fall down, get back up, it makes sense.
The only way to accomplish anything is to work through failure and setbacks, but there are tons of people who can't do this.
Weak-minded people often give up after 1 or 2 tries and accept defeat. Those who are mentally tough push through and don't stop until they succeed. This can apply to nearly everything in life, especially while trying to meet new goals or attempting new things. From school and work to various hobbies, things take time, and nobody is wonderful at everything on their first try. If you're a person who knows that, accepts it, and doesn't take the L because you didn't triumph on your first go-round, then chances are that you are a strong-minded person. Number 4. Ask for help. Not only are mentally tough folks able to overcome their fears, keep trying, and handle pressure, but they are also capable of admitting when they aren't able to accomplish something single-handedly. There's no denying that some activities, goals, etc. take more than one person to manage. Believe it or not, someone with a strong mind knows when to ask for help. They don't force themselves to do things alone out of stubbornness. Unfortunately, many people would rather struggle than admit they need assistance. Michelangelo didn't paint the Sistine Chapel alone. Even everyday tasks often take at least 2 people. That's why teamwork is so important in so many things. For example, Tom Brady couldn't have won the 2019 big game alone. He and the rest of the Patriots worked together to take home the coveted trophy for the 6th time. But simple things like running an office or helping customers at a store require people to work together, or at least to create the best outcome. Number 3. Patience. Another key aspect of a mentally tough person is patience. We previously mentioned that actively problem-solving is an aspect of someone with a strong mind. Nevertheless, there are other situations or issues that require patience, and sometimes waiting is even more difficult than taking action. An instance in which patience would be essential is when your significant other needs space. It's safe to say that just about everyone has had an argument with their partner, and they've asked for some alone time to cool down.
Waiting for them to text, call, or come see you during these situations is extremely challenging.
You're unsure of how they're feeling, if they're going to come back, or if your relationship is irreparable. But showing that you're capable of giving them alone time is one of the strongest things you can do. It would be easy to send them a message to check up on them, but it's much more difficult to wait things out. Patience is needed in many other circumstances as well. Something else that requires patience would be moving up in a company. Usually when people are first hired, they have to start at the bottom before working their way up to the top, and it doesn't happen overnight. Enduring weird hours and low wages is part of the long process of getting promoted, but it's worth it, and people with strong minds are capable of waiting it out. Others might just quit and try to find a quick fix, but if you're willing to wait for the reward, then you're probably more mentally tougher than those people. Number 2, showing your emotions.
Another thing that takes mental strength is being open. Many of us want to lock our emotions away and hide how we're feeling from the world.
It seems easier to live that way so others don't judge us and we can protect ourselves. But it takes a lot of courage to show your emotions and discuss them with other people. Let's say someone offends you at work. Your feelings were hurt and you're not sure how to handle it. The first option would be to keep it inside and try to overcome it alone. But that will only create a domino effect and you'll become more and more upset about it over time. Another option is to become defensive and angry without telling anybody why. Either one of these choices are definitive of weak-minded people. They would rather keep their feelings secret than talk about them, which results in hurting themselves and other people. But a mentally tough person will have an open, friendly conversation about why they're feeling a certain way, so steps can be taken to resolve the issue. Number 1. Staying logical. Last but not least, remaining logical is a telling sign of a person with a strong mind.
Several of the previous points fall into this category in some way.
Problem solving, admitting your shortcomings, asking for help, etc. all require logic. This doesn't mean that you should never follow your heart or instinct, but in everyday life, it's important to think things through logically. You might want to stand up, scream at your annoying coworker, and walk out of your job, but that's not the logical option concerning your own well-being. The ability to control your urges and do what's right for you and others is a glaring sign of a mentally tough person.
Today's featured comment comes from Queen T64 on our Inside Billie Eilish's live video. Thanks for your comment, Queen. Don't forget to leave your thoughts below, and we might feature you in a future video. Hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.